speaking a second language sort of defies the world's stereotype of Americans as being ignorant and only wanting to learn one language, and assuming that everyone else will speak what we speak. But I think going overseas and going to Germany or Austria and going into a store and speaking to them in their language, even though they can tell that we're Americans, shows that we're not just trying to have everyone cater to our needs, but we're going out of our way and trying to relate to them in their language.
Thinking of the world becoming more global, thinking of America continuously becoming more global, I think it's important that we have students that are able, people in this community that are able to function in more than one language. Yet Spanish is extremely dominant, and even in other areas in the country, even more so than here. However, there is a dire need for people to speak a multiplicity of languages. And I think it's extremely important to offer languages such as German and French and Italian in order to enhance the abilities of our students.
Well, the most obvious reason for anyone studying another language is that there should be options. There should be more than one language available. Certainly there's more than one language in the world. It could be for ethnic reasons or just because a person is in love with the culture, but to just offer one language sort of limits our scope, especially if you compare our high school students to students from other parts of the world. In other parts of the world, our counterparts speak more than one language. Certainly to maintain global perspective and be competitive, we also should promote more than one language or two.
Learning a second language has given me a new perspective on learning. Being able to speak and read and write in another language gives you new opportunities that are different and from ones which you would only experience by speaking one language. I often find myself using German words or idioms in the place of some other English expression because it fits what I'm trying to say better. And the better one can express themselves, the more intelligence that you have and the more ways you can approach to solving a problem. And that's why learning a second language is better, because it doesn't just help with learning another language or being able to communicate with someone else in another language. It helps you reason better, and it helps you approach problems differently from different angles. And the more ways in which you can solve a problem, the more effectively you're going to be able to solve it.
Of all of the classes at my high school, I think since our German class stayed together for 4 years, we formed a very close bond. And I think not just because we were in class together for the 4 years, but speaking the other language helped us grow closer.
The students have been able to relate to each other a lot more. What we started in relation to that is an international club. We've been having that for the past 2 years now, in which each language, there's 8 languages taught at my school that are part of that. And it's amazing how the relationships between the students, even outside of that club and within the school settings, have changed, because they now suddenly understand the differences. The Hispanics are able to talk about their culture, the Germans talk about why they're different and why they're behaving different in certain aspects, and we're able to discuss these things at such meetings. And it's amazing and how for students suddenly gain the concept of what differences really are like, and to have a better understanding of the language and the culture.